Hey, this is the Prophet with Nick Black. It's time to chit chat. You know nothing about blockchain. We here to fix that. You want the news on them new stocks? This is where you get that. So go and grab you a nice chair. It's time to sit back and talk.
Hey guys, Voz here, and I'm in my car because, hey, I'm always on the go. And I know you guys are always on the go too. Busy. But that's why tonight at 7 p.m., we're going to slow it down and have a little party to describe to you what Trade the Close is all about. What happens when those VIP doors close at 3:30 to 4? You'll find out. Bombshell trades, kinetically confirmed trades. I'm going to tell you the who, the what, the why, and of course, you need to obviously be part of this club. I want you guys in it. So be there, find out what it's all about. I'll prove it to you, and we'll see you tonight at 7 p.m. Plus, because I love ya, I'm going to give you a VIP watch list because that's what Voz is all about. See you at 7.
And we are live with Nick in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Pew. Did it feel like we needed to drop some rap lyrics right after that? Like after that kind of...
Possibly.
I was like, dang, I should come in with a hat sideways. Yo.
I am.
So, hello, everyone. Welcome to, well, sometimes it's Alternative Wealth Daily Live, but we all know it's AC, bro. American Institute for Cryptocurrency Investors or crypto investors, or just AC if you woke. Who's woke? Are you woke? Brandon, are you woke?
Hey, well, I'm actually glad that you asked because as it turns out, I am woke. I am.
I
think so.
Woke?
I don't.
Are you?
What are the
you,
requirements for being woke anymore? What is there like a list that I can attain? Is this something that I have to do step by step, or is this like a gradual evolution?
Do you use any pronouns?
I'd have to go back to school to figure out what a pronoun is, but maybe.
Okay, good. If you don't use pronouns, you woke.
Okay, so I'm good because I don't even know what it is.
You don't even know pronouns. He's like indirect object, direct object. I don't know. Everybody's they. Everybody's they. So
yep, exactly.
No. I think woke is kind of colloquial. Someone's like, "You woke." I was like, "How am I woke?" And they were just referring to the color combination on my car. I just think it's being informed. So if you're informed, you're woke. We're going to wake you up. And part of that is, I've been hearing this term, well, we've all heard it, the 51% attack. 51% attack, no. But game theory says that 51% is not actually the number. It's actually a 34%. If 34% or more of the nodes in a network become Byzantine. I'm going to teach you guys a cool word today, Byzantine. And I want everyone in the chat to write it. Byzantine equals bad. Byzantine generals. If you want to go back and do some research, Byzantine generals problem, how can you trust somebody that you probably can't trust? They're Byzantine. And so when you hear this term in the crypto space, in the digital asset space, or in algorithm, or in computer science, Byzantine nodes are bad nodes. They return misinformation, bad information, or they're literally just trying to thwart the network. And game theory basically says, well, not basically, it mathematically says, and we love math because that's integrity. And it says that if you have more than 34%, more than a third of the nodes in a system, so more than 1 out of 3, more than 2 out of 6, more than 3 out of, you see where I'm going. 34 out of 100. If you have 34%, you can no longer trust the network. It has been broke. They are unwoke. They are no longer informed. You're being misinformed. Byzantine equals bad. Okay, good. So now you understand when you hear these things, the Byzantine nerds. So Byzantine nerds, don't trust Byzantine nerds. And especially not nodes. So let's talk about this really quick so that when you guys are at the cooler, you will know what a 51% attack is. And there are some networks that through a variety of mechanisms can claim something close to a 50% Byzantine fault tolerance or defense. Brandon, can you guess what the safest so far, the safest of the protocol layers are, of the layer ones? Can anyone guess? I'll give you a hint. Cardano. Okay, what's your guess?
You kind of took that away from me. I was going to say Bitcoin, but Cardano, I guess, whatever.
Yeah, Bitcoin is not on the list. Bitcoin is a 34. It's a 34%er. It's a 34%er. So let's describe this real quick. So the blockchain's decentralized nature and the cryptographic algorithm is close to impossible for attacks, or at least that's the way people kind of claim. Like, it's impervious to attack. Well, from the outside and due to hacking, yes. However, you can have malicious players in the game, right? If enough, like in a basketball game, 5-on-5, if like 4 of the 10 are in on it, it can influence some games, right? If 2 of the 3 refs are bad, you have some weird and kind of perverse outcomes. So keep that in mind. The Ethereum Classic, if you guys remember, like a year ago, they were getting malicious attacks like every 5 or 6 days. They were almost getting attacked, and like 51% attacked, where half or more of their network was taken over. So like more often than Solana is down. And that's often, right? Like so very often. So anyway, and they kept getting attacked, and people said, how can you guys keep getting attacked? Well, a 51% attack, and this is what you hear about all the time, is a type of blockchain infiltration that can cause a network disruption and eventually mining monopolization. So more than half of the whole pool of miners decides, we're going to pervert the network. We're going to give a different set of transactions as the correct transactions. And if we have more than 50%, then we're going to end up making more blocks. We will have the longest chain, and we will they'll basically rewrite the blockchain. This is a reorganization. It can take the shape of a bunch of different things. Anyway, the attack occurs when a miner or an organization or a single entity gains over 50% majority control of the total compute power or hash rate running on a particular blockchain or network. They're not all blockchains, just so you know. Blockchain is like a colloquial term, but it doesn't have to be. Everything's not a blockchain. Like a DAG, like Hedera is not an IOTA. Those are not blockchain based. They are DAGs, directed acyclic graphs. It's a different structure. It's kind of a gossipy protocol that looks a lot more like a web of like guitar strings than it does like blocks, but the same basic idea, right? As a result of these kinds of attacks, the attackers acquire access to prevent miners from mining. So they cancel transactions from the other side and push forward their own transactions, and they can run off with stolen coins because they can do what are called double spend attacks. They can spend, get stuff, and then rewrite the transaction history so that those coins never actually left. And you would say that's bad. That is, in fact, bad. When a network becomes hijacked, the attacker would have sufficient mining power to modify a transaction. Now, in the case of Bitcoin, it hasn't happened because it would be incredibly and prohibitively expensive to do it. You would say probably only a state actor, like a government, like China, could do something like that. But those guys weren't, and this is the one time China didn't think ahead. When they started booting miners, which is part of their Go Green initiative and all this kind of stuff, whatever it was, they actually lost the ability to eventually destroy the very thing that might destroy them. And that's this kind of this culture of decentralization. Anyway, kind of interesting to think that they probably blew it. And I'm sure they'll look back and go, because most of the mining of Bitcoin was happening in China until about 1.5 to 2 years ago. And then they started booting people. They will look back on that with a fond kind of regret, I think. Anyway, so a 51% attacker reverses transactions, causing double spending within a blockchain or a distributed network. So let's say that the person attacking, let's just keep it simple. It's like one dude, he has 51%. Let's make it a dude because dudes are typically bad. We all agree, right? So one attacker, dude, he spends 1 Bitcoin in exchange for a product. So in reality, the blockchain should record this one transaction, right? One Bitcoin for one thing, right? Cool. However, a 51% attacker can trigger a refund by reversing the transaction to own both the thing and the original Bitcoin, because he will then on his chain make it where that transaction never occurred. And that's a double spend. You spent it and that's the have your cake and eat it too a crypto version, right? So how does the attack actually work? It works by overruling an existing network to take over the security protocols. These impacts may or may not be severe, but it all boils down to the power and the length of time the attackers can hold on to control the network. It would cost many, many billions of dollars every 10 minutes to do this in Bitcoin terms. So Bitcoin's, pretty expensive, but a lot of the coins with smaller market caps and smaller distributions of tokens like Ethereum Classic, not the ETH that you know of, ETC, which is the original Ethereum before they got hacked the other time. Ethereum's had some problems. Anyway, that one gets attacked pretty much like every Thursday, right? Like by the time we meet again, they'll probably have been attacked again, because it's for a very low cost, you can wrest control of the network. So the more percentage of hash power the attackers have, the easier it is to carry out these kinds of attacks. Ultimately, the damage is more consequential. An overview of 51% attacks. We actually have a website, a link. I'll get you guys a link if you want to super nerd out on this. But it is kind of interesting just to see how these 51% attacks work. And then on the flaw side, as dangerous as these attacks could be, some measures on certain blockchains are not penetrable. So there's no way a 51% attack can manipulate the reward per block of a miner. Those rewards are fixed. The attack will not have the capability to create a transaction. So taking over a network doesn't make transactions. What you could do is undo transactions. You're still mining on the network, and those transactions are still being put forth by the rest of the world. So all you can do is you could double spend. You could do a transaction and then undo it, but you can't make new transactions into perpetuity and then rescind those, because if you're the attacker and you control the network, those transactions are legit, right? Even though you've perverted the network, that line of transactions. So I know it's a lot of kind of, banging around in your head. And it is impossible to increase the upper limit of tokens or coins that come to existence on a blockchain network. So you can't spray out new tokens. Now, there may be software hacks and things like this, but as far as what a 51% attack is, now you get into the nitty gritty and you get into algorithmic integrity and you start looking at algorithmic game theory, then you have a 34% attack. The 34% and the 51% attack possess the same threat to blockchains and ultimately control the mining power. But what differentiates the 34, which is just over a third, and the 51 is using something called a Tangle consensus algorithm, which manipulates the ledger to approve or disapprove transactions. That gets to the nodes themselves, putting out fake information. And when you put out that fake information, anytime n equals more than 1/3 nodes, right? So anytime you have more than 1/3 bad Byzantine nodes, you got problems. That's all you really need to know about this. You now know about as much as everybody else in crypto, and probably more than the people that talk about these things happening all the time. Brandon, are you wised up?
Dude, I'm all educated now. That was the best education I've ever had my entire life.
And we just got it right off the website. You don't need to go into the computer science. You just need to know the basic broad strokes.
There you go.
And I just read it with you. So, yay. Okay, let's look at the markets. But before we do, how should we transition into those markets? Something deeply philosophical. Do we have a sound for that?
Let's see what I can find. Let me see what I can jingle up here. Hold on just a second.
I feel like I want 5 seconds of digestion. God, it makes me hungry. Does it make you hungry?
I'm eating right now.
Matter of fact, that was you eating, wasn't it?
That was it. I didn't even need a sound bite for that.
If we look at the markets, the weekend was not bad for the space. The Bitcoin got up to about 31,500. It then oddly and very quickly, and by the way, we can all thank Florida Dan for that. He got live video of, what's the pig's name? Pig, not ham and egg. That's terrible. But like he's got a cool pork chop. It's dickish. It's dickish to call a pig pork chop because that's like his future. But yes, so that was pork chop eating carrots. So we got to thank Dan for that. Okay, so the Bitcoin was sitting around 31. It got beat up yesterday very quickly, and these things happen because these are anemic markets. Sometimes, and I always look around, I say, well, did something just change? Did someone get indicted? And they're like, well, it could be that Binance is getting investigated by the SEC. Binance has always been investigated by the SEC. They're dirty and they sell securities, unlicensed, and BNB is an unlicensed security. Everyone's known that forever. No one is surprised. This shocks no one, least of all CZ. We call him Sleazy CZ for a reason, because he basically lives in international waters or in non-extradition countries like Justin's son and probably like Do Kwon, where they can't be scooped up and put in some kind of prison where they have to use mirrors to give you sunlight. So sometimes there's no direct answer for these things. Anyway, it wasn't that. Loomis put out some basic framework for crypto regulation, crypto asset regulation, digital asset regulation, which is good. It gets us, I don't know, maybe 75, 80% of the way there. Does it do enough? No. But you know what? It does something. It does something, and something is better than nothing, which is great. Real quick, Will I Am says, I have 1.5 million shares of W Luna. Oh, yeah. Nothing. I would maybe send it to another exchange where you can get rid of it. Find an exchange that trades it. Probably KuCoin. KuCoin, I'm sure, trades it. So send it over there and sell it. Or, I mean, you can do whatever you want. If I had it, I never had Luna, so I don't have any other kind of Luna because Ponzi is a Ponzi is a Ponzi. But anyway, yeah. If I had it, I would sell it. All right. Ethereum took a bit of a beating. You know who did not take a beating?
Cardano. Your layer
Cardano,
1 that's
right.
so secure. Cardano.
Well, and what's interesting about Cardano is they're going into this upgrade cycle. All of the metrics by which you measure these tokens, Cardano is the winner. Now, I've not agreed with everything they've done. I like Charles Hoskinson. I think their move into the NFT space is completely stupid. I think it's dumb. I think he is kind of a nerd. He's really a nerd. I'm a nerd. He's a nerd. And I think Charles wants to be looked at as being cool. So he did the NFT thing with Snoop. Great. They sold like $4 worth. He's doing the NFT thing with, I think, Martin Lawrence. Great. He's off his psych meds. And I guess now he's doing an NFT project. Hashtag no one cares. So whatever. Stick to governance as a service, but by all metrics, GitHub submits, which is when you're pushing new code into your GitHub repository. And you can, by the way, if you want to see what a company's doing, look up their GitHub, GITHUB statistics. And you can see which companies are pushing code, developing, and which ones are not. And so many claim to be doing all these things, and they're not pushing new code. They're not doing anything. So Cardano pushes tons of code. Cardano is doing a lot of research, a lot of development, governance as a service. Forget the NFT crap and forget their DeFi stuff because no one cares. They're doing fine. Oddly, in this market of all bloody red, they're doing quite well. Polkadot is still a whole bunch of nothing. I don't know. I mean, they tend to get these articles that come out of nowhere that give them accolades. But I haven't heard Gavin Wood speak. I haven't heard, and even when I have heard him speak, I'm not sure he was sober in years. So super smart guy, but those dudes party, and that's just the reality of it. And also, they're rich. if you take a bunch of dudes and make them instantly rich, you wake up in the morning and you just don't have as much give in the tank. You wake up without some give a S. How much, Brandon, how much give a S do you have in the tank?
I actually have a whole lot because I am actually dirt poor. So,
okay. But if I gave you $3 million tonight, how much give a S would you have tomorrow morning?
Oh, well, I'd take probably one day off. That's about it, though.
You know, yeah. But then what if I gave you 30 million?
Okay, I'll call it a week.
What if I gave you 300 million?
I don't even know what to do anymore because that's too much money to even conceive of. Why would you ever wake up again the rest of your life? Even my kid can sleep in.
And that's the thing, is that these devs on these early projects, they have hundreds of millions of dollars, not 3 million, 6 million, hundreds of millions. So you just wake up in the morning and you just don't care. And they can say, no, we're motivated. Are you? Are you motivated? I don't know, man. I don't even know what I would do if I had $300 million. Oh, first of all, you would never see me again. I'll be honest. 300 million bucks? Bro. I'm out. 100 million, I'll still be here.
Nick,
101 million.
You said we would still hang out. You lied to me. Okay.
In my cloud city. City.
Fair enough.
But I'm taking my rate to I would take my rate to $500,000 an hour. If you want to pay it,
fair enough.
We can hang. We can be buddies.
Let's pay.
What else was happening? I know that there is a question. We had pre-looked at some of the questions we're going to answer in a second. Let me just answer the phantom one right now. I don't know. None of us know if things are going to reach their all-time high, but I will say this. If you have an asset that you think has a good, solid team, they're constantly publishing upgrades to their code, and they're forming meaningful partnerships, and you think use, utility, and adoption is possible, then it's very likely that as the market becomes more positive, more bullish, more smiles, and we'll get 2 more 50-point rate hikes out of the failing Fed, and then they flinch, which they will, because they're going to go way past the point where CPI comes down and PMIs come down, and now we have inventory just loading up on shelves, which we talked about this for months while everybody was screaming inflation. And now you guys are going to get the other side of this argument, and you're going to get it ugly. Not you here. I mean, you is in the pejorative you, not us. We are the smart ones. The idiots are about to see the other side. There's the vicious and the voracious side of product management. So when there's nothing on the shelves, you order and order and order and order, and then inventory comes. And guess what? It keeps coming because the buying, if buying is constant and there's no inventory, price go up. That's not inflation. If there's tons of inventory and buying is constant, price go down. That's not inflation or deflation. It's just effects of having products on shelves or products in Connex boxes circling the bay. None of those things are inflation. And as these products shower their way that have been over-ordered for over a year now, a year and a half, as they hit shelves, you're about to see the ugly side of the product manager cycle. So just keep that in mind when things start turning and everybody goes, wait, the inflation, I thought that no, man, inflation is a monetary phenomenon. If there's no money, price can go up and price can go down, but that's not inflation. You say, well, it still costs more to buy stuff. Yes, I understand that. Oh, well, gas prices. Yeah, but that ain't inflation either. That's all supply chain. That's all. Anyway, not to get off on that tangent, but just make sure that you're making your estimations of what the future is on a good, solid foundation of macroeconomics, not this garbage that you consume at CNBC, because those rubes, they know not what they speak. Anyway, what I thought was interesting, look at our little dumpster fire coin. It's up 17%. That seems organic. Someone had asked me real quick, and then we'll do some questions. They'd asked me about looks rare. When does looks rare look good? I don't know. I don't think it looks good anytime soon. Maybe you take a stab at it around 25 cents. I don't know. I don't know how to play that except other than playing it for little blips. What do you think on that one, Brandon?
On looks rare, here's what I would do. If I were honestly looking to get into looks rare, I would look to see when they actually start to establish some real dominance versus OpenSea, and that way you know their model is going to be sustainable long term. Until that point, I think it's a speculative play too much.
And it's just funny money coins. You're getting,
it's just the way it is. Yeah.
You're getting funny money coins, and as much as I hate to say it, no one uses looks rare. All right, let's tackle a couple of questions.
True. Well, I'm going to throw this one on the screen anyway. Hold on.
Ooh.
You already answered it, so hold on.
You know what I'm drinking right now? Oh, it's so delicious.
Because you already answered the question. The next question.
That's right.
The next question we have. This one is from Denny, New York. Hey, Nick, what do you know about a coin secret?
Well, if it's a true secret, I don't know anything about it. This is the first I've heard of this secret. I don't know what coin secret is. I think I have heard something called coin secret, but I don't know much about it. I know that after reading about a paragraph of their gobbledygook, I was not incredibly excited. And no, I am not still in looks. I got out of looks. I took half my position off at $2.92. I took the rest off at $1.79, and I converted all of it into Ethereum, where it still sits and waits and collects interest over on Nexo. Thank you. All right, next question. And by the way, for anybody that's asking, this is not even a shameless plug. I won't tell you where it's from. I'm sure it's impossible to guess. It is a chocolate cold foam cold brew. And it is like drinking blood from the neck of the baby Jesus.
This is all he's been raving about for the past 96 minutes before we got on the show. He's been thinking about this little drink that he's had. Look at it. Okay, this is too far. Anyway, Gervasen, is there anything about Peace Coin? Since you didn't answer the secret question, Coin.
Peace, bro.
We've never heard of it. Okay, Peace, bro. I figured this would go along the same lines here.
Yeah, it's not super. Yeah. It's so not exciting. It didn't even come up on my regular news feed. So I would say stay away from Peace Coin. It's probably a piece of ship.
Oh,
like maybe a part of it. A piece of an old boat, perhaps. A piece of ship.
Perhaps. When you're realigning coins, does that mean per coin or dollar value of each coin?
SOD, you're probably thinking of rebalancing. If you're talking about rebalancing, what I do is I look to rebalance not based on price, but based on the representation of percentage in that bucket. So like, for instance, Bitcoin in my portfolio right now, it represents about 10%. It's gone down because the other coins have gone up. So if I want it to be at 15%, if I look at the whole portfolio and I have $10 in there, but now only $1 is Bitcoin, I need to get it back to about $1.50. So as I add new money or take off the tops of other tokens, I would probably push it back into the Bitcoin to get up to that 15% of the total portfolio. And if I was going to add new money, I would go, okay, I have $10. I'm adding $1, which means I now have $11. What would be 15% of $11? So now I got to put like $1.55, $1.55 in there, something like that. So that's how I would do it. Right.
I saw that you had your that was good answers. I saw you had your Optimism coin in your list there. Did you get that airdrop?
I did not. I don't even know how you were supposed to get it. Did you get one?
Yeah, I got an airdrop, man.
For what?
Free money. I
know, but how'd you get it?
MetaMask, you go on the Optimism, you have to switch some of your Ethereum over to their layer, which is a different layer of Ethereum, basically. You switch over your Ethereum, you claim your Optimism coin, then you sell your Optimism coin immediately, which is what I did. Switch everything back over to your layer. When I went over there, Okay, I went over there and it said enter your wallet address. I entered my wallet address, which I've done about 10,000
Ethereum transactions through, and it said, nope, no airdrop for you.
What? Maybe.
I
You know what? I've used quite a few bridges. Have you ever? Yo, you used Fetch Bridge.
Yep.
This is
I put all my
interesting.
wallet addresses in. It said, you got nothing. You know what?
Wonder why. Huh. Yeah. I'm sorry. And with that, and with that, we will see you later in the week. Now, later in the week could be weird because I'm going to be in Baltimore recording some stuff for us. But it won't. I don't know if it'll be real time. So I don't know what the recording schedule is. But Thursday and Friday we are in a studio. So we'll see. We will see. And on that note, I must bid you a pew pew. However, don't do anything my poor insolvent drunk strung out on meth grandmother or Brandon wouldn't do, which is very little. Pew pew. Pew pew.
Pew pew. It's time to chit chat. You know nothing about blockchain. We here to fix that. You want the news on them new stocks? This where you get that. So go and grab you a nice chair. It's time to sit back and talk to prop.